So Stacy, tell us about the Smartroller.
Thank you, Carol. What I'd like to mention about it is that I think it has a real deep respect for the biotensegrity of our own biology and our relationships to using a tool, more of an educational tool, not something that is to melt soft tissue or do things. Those are fine ideas, but Dr. Feldenkrais really used foam rollers to really highlight and catalyze movement through the system. So he didn't want to dampen it. He was using rollers for support. He was using rollers very much like how children move. So I was asked when I started teaching it way before foam rollers came out in the market, I was asked that, could you adapt it? And I said, well, I still like the cylinder, but I thought, well, maybe I could. And what I thought about is in today's times, and we aren't back in the farm doing all the movements that really flush out our postural habits. And I thought, really, we need to modify. And I went for a run one day and I thought of something. I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. You can't have freedom in the respiratory system when you lie on the roller in such a way that you're not putting full constraint on the connective tissues. So I thought breath is a big deal. And then I started playing and moving it around. So I really kind of made this kind of topsy-turvy thing where that when you lie on it, the shape of your own body can open space, but you could keep some of the elements, and it made it more of like a cradle, like a rocking motion. So I thought that's kind of neat. That would affect the cellular relationship of how we move. So it just went from there, and then I cut them into pieces, and so, but based on the idea and hoping that people using their own creative lens of how they could use something in their clinical space or their studio space to see if there's ways to be a facilitator, to get them to embody the principles of what you're really wanting them to engage. So that's why, we call it the Smartroller because we felt like, isn't it about the internal and external intelligence that we're really trying to draft off of?
Great. Good for you. So it comes in the long form, not just the little piece that you showed.
Yeah, I thought rather than holding it, it's a 36-inch roller, and and it's solid, which is really neat. And I do like that the company did give us because I still get people confused. Which side am I on? That kind of thing. So that way I can differentiate. It's marbled side, it's solid side. And I will literally in one application have them on one and then switch it over, have them on the other. And I'll have them feel that contrast because I really want to highlight this is not moving. This is more art. This is what this is. And then there's contrast and compare. And our nervous system likes to really make adjustments, just like anything that kind of uses a way to focus or attend to the substance of what we're doing.
And so it's increasing the awareness of the embodiment of the system according to the external forces, along with the internal forces that are actually doing the adjusting to the whole system. And the biotensegrity is the energy that's picking up and feeding into the nervous system, the stimulus, and then we're making the adjustments. Right. But it's soft. So you're working with soft tissue.
Actually, we're soft matter, but we keep the firmness. And the reason for that is that Feldenkrais used the floor as a reflection. It wasn't to try and mat us, and we do need matting in certain ways, but because of the adaptation of the shape, it's close to the floor. It's enabling people not to have harsh poking prominence or way too much lift, but you do get the feedback. And when you and the feeling of giving into the support, just like a reason of firm chairs really give you more support than sunken, soft chairs or mattresses. So there's a value to firmness and to use it as a way to signal the system to adapt in that way.
But there are some foam rollers that are actually assaultive because people use them as hard as rocks to increase inflammation to an area, like the IT band very often, that foam rolling with like a roller pin against the IT band. Yours is not designed to do that. Yours is designed more to be compatible with soft tissue.
Right. And speaking of I couldn't agree with you more. Speaking of the IT band, I do have an application, but I really think it supports the anatomy trains in a better way, where the side that you're actually wanting to address, you have them lie on their side, and the floor is the relationship, and then you let the opposite leg rest on the Smartroller, and as you do movements, I feel it then goes right up through the canal, into the ribs, into the chest, and you start to let people recognize how the iliotibial band, lateral tissues of the thigh, have a relationship to our spiral. And so it's a conversation so that we're just not slapping meat on sides of ourselves, but there's a relationship that travels up the torso into head support. So again, Feldenkrais was a martial artist, and it's about acture. We use that word as opposed, it's another conjoined word that we believe that alignment has relationship to action.
Okay, good, great. Thank you.
Thank you. That was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Still there, Camilla?